permanent housing up and running. We have to be all of the people here. We have some people who call and say, oh, can some of you, are you to say, why you? I think I don't think I'm trying to say that. Getting back to where you come from and have everything on your island. But for me, now, again, 60 years of being and I love it. Then from Honolulu, there's too much goes on. But anyway, that's great. One day we have to get together. Listen to the voices of people that there is African here. There's each and every one who get to know what is all about Hawaiian Home Lands Beneficiaries.
How many?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the meeting of the Hawaiian Homes Commission is called to order. The meeting is being held live and in person at the Lanai High School cafeteria and virtually via Zoom. I'm Kali Watson, Chairman of the Hawaiian Homes Commission, and today's date is Sunday, November 19, 2023, and the time is 1:43. Leo, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kaneakua,
Aye.
Commissioner Markville,
Bill.
Commissioner Nevis,
Aye.
Commissioner Helm,
Here.
Chair Watson.
Here.
5 members present, we have a quorum.
Okay, today's agenda consists of 2 informational items. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Our first agenda item is E1, where we'll be talking about the Lanai project's update. This will be presented by Stuart Matsunaga, the head of our Land Development Division. Stuart?
Hello, Chair and Commissioners. First of all, I just wanted to say aloha and mahalo to the many of the who have come today who were part of the original build program. And I'm gonna take this mic with me, and so I can stand in the front and really address the audience. And so we did have copies of the PowerPoints. We ran out. They'll be available on our DHHL website. Okay. Yeah, next slide, please. This presentation is, many of you have seen this because we've used this over the last 15 years. I think it's important to also update commissioners who may have not been around during that time. And I'm trying to buy a little bit of time as Mike loads up. So thank you so much. Aloha. So DHHL developed phase 1 and 2A, a total of 45 lots. We expended about $5 million on that infrastructure that was for the roadways, lot grading, potable water system, as well as the sewer collection system. There's underground utilities, including electric and telecommunications. For the next 16 lots that have been offered, my understanding is that the Lanai City guidelines may not apply. When you first built the homes, we had to do it post on pier, metal roof, double hung windows. Those are the 3 important features in the design guidelines. Now that Castle and Cook is no longer we have started some discussions with Pulama Lanai, and I think we just need to get that squared away in writing. Later on, Kalani Franda can probably discuss that issue further. So as Antiwini was saying, that when we first got the title to the land, there was a stipulation that said, and this was in 1999, that by 2009, at least 25 homes needed to be constructed. Otherwise, the land would automatically revert back to Castle and Cook. And so because of all of you, we were able to meet the 25 houses. In fact, we had exceeded that. I think there's 29 at 2009. So if anybody here was involved in that, mahalo for that. And that's why we still have the land. Okay, and then 2019, several years ago, the 16 lots, the other lots that were not awarded were offered again. And again, Kalani Franda can speak more to that in terms of the leasing as well as the home construction. So I'll leave that to him. Next slide, please. Okay, this just shows that those were the 16 lots. And as far as financing and housing options, again, Kalani can speak to you more on that. Okay, next slide. Most of this I spoke to you earlier. One of the things I was concerned about is that I did a quick drive through the subdivision, and I wasn't able to see all of the property pins. And so that would be something that will need to be corrected when the new lots are awarded. Okay, next slide, please. So homeowner Kuleana, many of you know this, maintaining your property pins, erosion control, landscaping, keeping the dust down. There seems to be a lot of ukana and opala around, and this is something I know that it's a concern of the community. Lot drainage, certain lots have concrete ditches behind, I think it was Kamoku Street, Kamoku Place, and so that again is the homeowner's responsibility to keep it clean. If you don't keep it clear and it backs up, it could flood your neighbors, and then the only person who'd be liable is the one who caused the blockage. Okay. And then we are following Maui County building codes and permitting. So next slide, please. I'm just sharing this because this was the original recording of the Declaration of Covenants, Conditions and Restrictions for Lanai residence lots under Castle and Cook, and so now that has transferred over to Pulama Lanai, and I believe that there was going to... Okay, next slide. Okay, so we do have future development plans. This was part of the original master plan layout. There are approximately 75 lots that we are planning to construct. So the first step in the process is we're hiring a consultant to start the off-site infrastructure planning and development. So right now, many of you know that where the lots are located right now, they gravity feed into what I was told, Mississippi. That's right, yeah? Okay, so it goes to the county. Our understanding right now is that there's no potable source available, so we need to start looking into that issue. And then Fifth Street needs to be developed. And to that, we intend to have additional discussions with Pulau Lanai, with the County of Maui, because the County of Maui, at one time, they were planning affordable housing, Makai of the DHHL subdivision. And what better way to do it is to collaborate with all of the parties so that we can share in the cost and that DHHL doesn't bear the full cost of the development. Okay, next slide, please. So we here have just an estimate of what that development is going to cost. And 10, 20, 25, that's $41 million. This is primarily for all that offsite development. So if we can get other parties to share in that cost, it'll substantially reduce our cost and allow us to move sooner rather than later. Next slide. And so I thank you for your attention. Again, Kalamai, if I didn't know your name at the get-go and I had to read the sign-in sheet. So mahalo for coming, and I will turn over the mic.
Go on. Yeah, this is Kalani Franda. He'll kind of give some thoughts on the development of those new lots and maybe how you can, if you are one of those that are chosen, move forward on developing it.
Aloha, Chair, Commissioners, and the community of Lanai. My name is Kalani Franda with the Office of the Chair. And one of the things that Stuart had brought up was our discussion that we have with Pulau Lanai. And so we are talking with Harlan Nui in regards to some of the design guidelines and how we can navigate that particular stipulation. So they're working on it right now, and then we can provide more information at a later date. Now, for some of those that have, there's 16 of you who are lessees, and just looking forward to starting to build. But as you guys all know, it's not as easy to get the resources here to the island. So we're working on finding opportunities to bring those resources here. And so one of the ones that, I'm not sure if you can get it up, but we're trying to work with a particular developer that puts together, it's called SIPS Hawaii. And so what they do is they manufacture walls or panels. And so it helps the construction move a little bit more efficient and a little bit quicker. And they've been working with the various counties, also working with the landowner here on some projects to see how they can support some of that. So we have been talking with them on coming and helping us to be able to help the 16 lessees and their successors to be able to put up something. The other thing that we've been doing is looking at various types of financing. So some of the financing comes through this fund called NAHASDA, particularly for Native American housing opportunities. And so we had our staff that manages that program come and talk story with some of the lessees to see if they qualify. The rates there are very good, so if you can qualify there, then great. We're also working with the, could you move that to 3 more slides over? Oh, right there, that's good. And so we're also working with other financial institutions that work with the department on financing different housing that happens on DHHL lands. And so you'll have a list of those on who you can qualify with to help the financing of this construction. So it all depends on what you qualify for as well as what your desired build is. So we can start at as small as the 2-bedroom and go all the way up to the 5-bedroom. So these are kind of what it looks like. And then you can move to the next one. So up to about 1,100, 1,200 square feet living space. And with that, so we hope to continue to engage with the various lessees. If you are a lessee and haven't had a chance to talk with us or connect with me, I'll be in the back before you take off and be able to connect with you on further information. But for the most part, we're able to either talk story with them via phone or via email on what the next steps are. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kalani. Yeah, one of the things that, especially for a lot of individuals that have been awarded a lease, and I mean, it's very challenging if you've never built your own home, which I'm sure all of you, that is a situation. So one of the things that the department is now doing is providing some resources, not only choices, especially these types of expandable, very easy to put up, very cost effective, but also providing you with sources to loans that are makes it even a more viable situation for those that are interested in that. Then the other thing is we're looking at on the expansion where we'll the remaining 25 acres doing approximately 75 new units. There is some discussion with the county. They also have an affordable housing project that they're trying to put together that has not been very, very successful. So one of the things would be maybe working with them to combine and then put together a number of units, thereby getting the individual unit costs down, as well as maybe partnering on some of the infrastructure that needs to be put in place. So not only are we trying to address the needs of the people on the waiting list for Lanai, we hopefully would like to possibly eliminate the waiting list. So we're on the sizing of the lots, right now they're 10,000 square foot lots. So maybe make it a little bit smaller. We might be able to get a little bit more density and thereby eliminate the waiting list for Lanai. So those are some of the things we're looking at. But for those that do have an award, please do talk to Kalani because he has a wealth of information that might be able to help you. Okay, the next agenda item is G1, the status of plan implementation. And we'll have Andrew Choi and Nancy McPherson with our planning office.
Well, Commissioners, I'll follow the trend that Stuart started and turn around. My name is Andrew Choi. I'm the Planning Program Manager with the Department of Hawaiian Home Lands. I'd like to mahalo Nancy McPherson for putting together today's PowerPoint. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it today because she started to get sick on Friday, and this morning she dropped off the materials and she looked really sick. So we told her, don't go on a plane with us. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick overview of the department's plans for Lanai and their implementation status. So next slide. So we're going to quickly go over some quick statistics about our beneficiaries, our lands in Lanai, like I said earlier, our plan implementation, and what we intend to do in the future in 2024. Next slide. So real quickly, on the island of Lanai, our wait list is about 70 people. We have about 44 existing lessees, and we have 1 vacant lot currently. Next slide. The department currently has about 50 acres of land on the island of Lanai, out of the total 90,000 acres on the island. The aerial images on your right kind of gives us a quick overview of our existing homestead area with the houses, and then to your left, the area that the department will be building out. That's the information that Stuart presented earlier on the homestead build out. Next slide. For those of you who've participated in our planning meetings over the years, this diagram should look a little bit familiar. This gives an overview of the department's planning system. Our planning system articulates the different plans that the department promulgates to help guide decision-making and policy decisions. So at the top tier is our general plan, which the department and the commission just adopted last year. It provides statewide policies that help guide decision making. At the second tier are island plans, which articulates the commission's land use policy for each particular island. And then at the last tier are our regional plans. Those plans help identify priorities that are important to beneficiaries in a particular region. So I'll be going over the Lanai regional plan in a little bit more detail later on in this presentation. Actually, the next slide. So the commission approved the Lanai regional plan in 2010. So it is due for an update. In the 2010 Lanai regional plan, beneficiaries identified 5 priorities. Priority 1, and sorry, this is really, really small text, but I'm just going to summarize it. Like Stuart said, there were handouts in the back. If you didn't get a handout, this will be posted on the department's website. So priority 1 was to look at alternative energy plan to reduce residential costs. Currently, due to deed restrictions, the department was not able to pursue it that much, so we do have to have future conversations with Pu'ulamo Lanai and the county on potential renewable energy strategies that we can do to help save our homestead lessees money related to energy costs. The second priority project was to award the remaining 18 lots out of the first phase. We're happy to report that all remaining lots have been leased. The department has been improving communication with our Lanai beneficiaries and offering financial counseling. And Kalani Franda has been a big part of that effort. And then most recently, a multi-division team from the department was on Lanai in October. The third priority project was to establish a Hawaiian Homestead Community Association. The previous Homestead Association was inactive, so the department has met preliminary with potential community leaders wanting to re-engage our lessees and wanting to form a new Homestead Association. The fourth priority project was that beneficiaries identified was to look at the interim use and management of vacant undeveloped lands. So there are several issues associated with the vacant and undeveloped lands, primarily that those lands weren't being managed and they weren't being maintained, and beneficiaries asked the department to look at potential options, potential solutions to help manage and maintain those lots. Currently, the remaining 35 acres is under license to a DHHL beneficiary. The department has been working to revise its revocable permit program and a stewardship program so that these vacant lands can be better maintained in the interim while we're looking to award them to beneficiaries for homesteading. And then the last priority project that was identified was to install speed control solutions along Kamoku and 5th Street. Unfortunately, this one has not been implemented since 2010. Next slide. So one of the other things that the department has been working on in terms of Lanai was that through the, in 1990, the department and the state reached a settlement agreement in which the state owed the Hawaiian Home Lands Trust 16,000 acres of land, as the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act stated that 200,000 acres of land was supposed to be given to for the purposes of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act. But during the 90s, the department did a calculation and we realized we were 16,000 acres short. So the state and the department settled on that. And one of the, or two of the parcels that the department selected to help settle that claim were 2 parcels on Lanai. And these maps kind of give a rough location of where those parcels are. One parcel is 10 acres, one is 15 acres. One of the complications of getting the parcels into DHHL inventory was that at the time, the State Department of Land and Natural Resources actually didn't own the properties. So, but they were owed the properties from the former landowner, Castle and Cook. One of the conditions to transfer the parcel from Castle and Cook to the state, back then was DLNR, now it's DHHL. One of the conditions was that the state had to pay for the subdivision of the lots out from the larger, formerly Castle and Cook property. So we've been working with the county. We actually got a recent update from our consultant who's been helping us with that subdivision application. He said that verbally the county has said that we fulfilled all of the conditions and that a final subdivision approval letter should be sent from the county to the department. So in 2024, we hope to assume ownership of these two properties. Next slide. And then you're probably wondering, oh, what is the department going to do with those two properties? Well, in 2024, as I mentioned earlier, our Lanai Regional Plan is due for an update. So in 2024, we're going to be initiating our update of the Lanai Regional Plan. I'm sure we can include as part of that update process what the department should be looking at for those two properties that we're going to hopefully have ownership of in 2024. So in 2024, myself and Nancy McPherson will be back here to have conversations with you folks about updating the regional plan and making sure that current priorities are reflected in the department's regional plan. We hope to probably get started with the regional plan update probably sometime in the second half of 2024. We're currently going through the procurement process to bring a consultant on to help us with that. And then other homestead project implementations, Stuart talked about earlier, new residential lots, needed infrastructure associated to bring those lots on. And then we also have had conversations with Pu'ama Lanai. Most recently in 2021, the department entered into a memorandum of agreement with Pu'ama Lanai. Basically, the agreement says that Pu'ama Lanai and the department, if both of our developments need additional infrastructure, the two entities will agree to cost share in those infrastructure improvements that are needed to accommodate both of our developments. Also, as part of that MOA, Pu'ama Lanai also agreed to give annual updates to the Hawaiian Homes Commission about their plans on what's happening on Lanai. So with that, I would like to pass it to Kikipua Danso, representing Pu'ama Lanai, who will give a brief update on their plans currently.
Aloha Commissioners, aloha Lanai. Most of you have heard this information, as many of you are recognized. You join our community meetings virtually and most recently in person that we've had. So I'm going to turn and face the commissioners because a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with on our projects you guys already know. Aloha Commissioners, mahalo for the opportunity to provide our annual update. As mentioned by Andrew Choi, we had agreed to this annual update, and our first one was last year, and this is our second one. Last year we did it virtually, so this year I'm sharing in person. So the first project I'd like to share an update on is our Hokuau 201H housing project. I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to pass by, but you can see that is coming up. We hope to award the first set of units, approximately 46 units, on December 1st. We started this project, the entitlements, back in 2021, and that was a nexus of this MOU. We were before the Land Use Commission for a district boundary amendment, and the Department of Hawaiian Home Lands had provided comments to intervene, and we agreed that we would provide annual updates, and you guys did not choose to intervene at that time. So we're very excited. So within 2 years, we finished the process and we'll be awarding the first 46. It's 150 homes. 50% are affordable, 80% to 140% AMI. All workforce housing, 100% rentals. The next project I'd like to share an update on is our Ko'ele Project District. We shared this with you last year. We have no update. The last action on this was on September 7th, 2022, in which we had a special meeting with the Lanai Planning Commission for a public hearing, and they recommended the approval. It's been sitting in the county's Corporation Council. They're drafting the ordinances. So once they're completed with that, it will be sent up to the mayor for signature and then to the Planning and Sustainable Land Use Committee for discussion. The next project is our Mickey Basin 200 Industrial Park. That piece of, that parcel is in the Mickey Basin area right next to the HECO power plant and our other industrial plant. It was also in the community plan as a heavy use industrial parcel. It's identified as a heavy and light use industrial parcel. So what we are doing is implementing that community plan. We had a couple of movements on that project. On March 28th, 2023, the Land Use Commission issued a findings of fact, conclusions of law, decision and order, and certificate of service to amend the land use district boundaries from ag to urban. We then had to apply for the county for a change in zoning. Even though it was in the community plan, it wasn't zoned properly. It was still ag. On October 14th, 2022, we submitted a change in zoning and a county special use for the Mickey Basin Industrial Park to the County Planning Department. Fast forward to August 16th, there was a public hearing at the Lanai Planning Commission and they recommended approval. Now we're in the same place where the Corp Council and Planning Department have to draft the ordinance and send it to the State Land Use Committee at the council for discussion. So we don't see that happening for at least a year due to the county's backlog as well as the recent events on Maui. The next update is on Well 7. We started the construction of Well 7 and we're almost complete with that. We are in the process of testing that well. So once that well comes online, that would add capacity and resilience to our water system here on Lanai. So those are the development projects that we're providing an update for. The next item is our Kuahiviakai, our Lanai Watershed and Conservation Program. We provided a document to you last year, and I can provide a link to the most recent update. We continue to implement that. It's a huge watershed protection program from Lanai Hale down to the windward coast, the Keaumoku coast. It's a huge undertaking with lots of partners. Our primary partner is NIFWIF. And to date, Pulama Lanai has committed and distributed $1.4 million on that effort. Other items that we work on in the community are educational programs. In 2022, Pulama Lanai supported the following educational programs on Lanai with various donations totaling approximately $363,000. College and career counseling for Lanai High and Elementary School and the LHES Post-High Scholarships. We fund the dual credit program at UH College for LHES students. The John A. School of Medicine, John A. Burns School of Medicine, we sponsor a second-year cohort to come and do a 6-week training for rural health. And we also supported Hawaii Kids Can. And that's our update for Pulama Lanai. I'm here for questions if you have any.
Any questions? No, thank you.
Aloha. Mahalo.
So just witness this. He's here. Okay. Okay, at this time, we would like to invite testimony from people from the community. Obviously, it's very, very important we're here. It's an opportunity for you to kind of, ask questions of us as well as give us your mana'o. And so for the first person, I'd like to call up Winnie Vasquez.
Hello again.
Hello.
What's your question?
What's my question? How about you can ask us questions if you want, or
Okay,
give us your manao on anything you want.
all right. Thing is that when I look at the situation at how OV is the name of the Hawaiian homeland on the island of Lanai. It was named after Uncle Saul Ka'apuwiki. You can name it like Ha'ovi or Ha'owi. Either way, it's spelled the same way. And when Uncle Saul, when we went to the meetings in Honolulu at Razel Convention, we were there for a while. And he would think, what's going on? What's wrong with people nowadays? So I asked Uncle Saul, who are Papa, what's going on? What's your manao? Then he tells me, it's not like before. It's gone already. The history is gone. But the new things are coming in that he did not understand. So I had talked to him about it. I said, Uncle Saul, it's different now. The lifestyle is different. The whole situation now is different, way different, not like before. You go back to olden days. Olden days you can cooperate it, but now you cannot. So he said, oh well, it has to be like that. It has to be. Cannot be no other way. So I said, you sure now? He said, yeah, okay. The second one is when you say the land. Okay, I had put in for my land on the homestead over here. The first land was 10,200. It was kind of a little small, depending on the house that you're gonna build. Then I changed my mind, I went to the other one, it was much more bigger. When I started with the homestead on Lanai, okay, I had brought my friend from Channel 2 News, Cheryl Tuberia. She came and took the pictures of the land. She said, Auntie, this place is level. It's not no mountain or whatever. I said, yeah, that's what it's all about. We're looking for a place where you can do your thing. The only thing you couldn't do was it would have to be residential, agriculture, no pastoral. Why? Because it's going to interfere with the other people. When they have like cows, pigs, dogs. Dogs I can see, because that dog's taking care of the family. But when you have other kind of animals that I can say, irritate the people, your neighbors, and they start complaining, what are you gonna do? Can you take care of that situation? I cannot. As their lifestyle. They want dogs, okay. Rabbits is quiet. Dogs is a little bit yow, 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 barking all the time. But the thing is that when you come down to the nitty gritty, we all family on the island. All here is all family. We talk to each other. We get information. What do you think about it? Can we do it this way or can we do it that way? But the thing is, when you do this kind of stuff, getting good, who are we going to turn to? The government? What will the government do? Will they look at the situation on what's coming? I don't think so, because they get so much other things for doing. They get so much, I say, cooperation. You have people coming in and testifying on everything in general. But listen to what? Listen. Something's wrong. But I tell you, it's how you approach the person. You go there, hey brother, this kind of, no, you don't do that kind. Hello, can I talk to you? Talk in a different voice, talk in a good way that they understand where you're coming from. Like I say, I love living on Lanai. I've been here for over 60 years and I love it. Why? Because you can talk to people. When you see new people coming in, they want to nosy. Oh, how come you doing that kind? Excuse me, where did you come from? That's not good when you come over here and hana ino. You don't come over here and make any kind. Remember now, the man up there is watching what your folks are doing to us over here. The man is watching. He do not sleep day or night. He's always up and watching. And when something goes wrong, he's going to come and hana ino you. When they do that, you wonder why. Is this the place where he come from? Why do people do this kind of stuff like that? We don't like this kind. Bye. To mama and to papa, tell us, be very careful. Or when something will hana ino you, or the keakua is going to come, or the spirit, you know the spirit, you're going to come and hana ino you. See, Lanai is a ghost island. Maybe you don't know about it. But it'll come. And when it comes, watch it, man. We cannot do anything because they're going to do what they want to do. But other than that, it's about time we have the homestead on Lanai. And I love it. Why? Because like I say, it's family. When you talk about family, you talk to him in your heart. And when he does that, are you okay, sir? Do you need help?
Nope, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I can help you, you know.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. No, but the thing is that when I used to work hospital, that's what we used to do, help out people. But thank you again. Love talking to you guys again. I was sorry I won't come to DHHL meeting tomorrow. I go into Molokai, your island. Mahalo again.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Mahalo, Winnie. Okay, the next person, Garrett Harrow.
Aloha, Commissioners, and our Lanai Ohana. I just had 4 questions that I wanted to bring up today. The first one was regarding programs and resources that you the folks went over that. But resources and programs is going to help the people to qualify for their loans. You know, even from the first phase, it was kind of sad to see a lot of people couldn't qualify for loans so that they could build their homes on the lot. So I hope that this round that you folks can come up with resources, like you said, like even like cutting down the sizes of the house to even make it affordable for them, and then in the future later they can build from that, they'll make it bigger and expand. So that's the first one that I wanted to ask, that I hope that you folks can find resources and monies to help these people qualify on a loan so that they can build a house on their lot. The second one is regarding overgrown ditches. In the back of Hawaiian Homes, like the main ditch in the back where all the water drain, yeah, it's overgrown already. Yeah, and also not only overgrown, but it also becomes a fire hazard. Everybody goes through there. It was nice and clean before, but you got those invasive trees that grows and now is way, so that's a concern that I wanted to bring up because, after, especially that fire on Lahaina, so it kind of wakes up all of us, to kind of look at concerns like that, to make sure that people's property are protected, their homes are protected. So that's concern, and then who's going to maintain those ditches and in the property overgrown. Another one is empty lot maintenance. From the first time they ordered the lease, the lots was empty for a long time and there was no one to maintain the lots. And then recently, I think you guys had a group from Molokai came over. They came over a couple times to maintain the empty lots, and after that, they never came back. I tried calling Oahu. I had to call like a lot of places. And then finally, the last one, they said that the lots was awarded, so it's the responsibility of the person who was awarded the lease. So if that's the case, then who's going to enforce them to maintain their lots? Because some of the lots are overgrown, and you got some neighbors who have their houses built, you know, and that kind of cause a fire hazard. Yeah, so, or if you guys gonna find somebody to maintain those empty lots, you know, to keep it short and so it doesn't become a fire hazard. And then the third question, any update on the quantity of the blood? You know, right now it's, I think it's quarter, yeah, that you can successorship or transfer. I was wondering, I wanted to find out if you guys had an update on that, if you guys jumping the quantum of that. I talked with somebody on Maui. They said that at the meetings over there, they had people write down like their children's names who was below quarter. So I told them I never heard anything on this side yet, and so I just wanted to bring that up. And where is the process in that, where it stands? Any update on that? And that's all the questions I have right now.
Okay, with respect to the loans, yeah, we're recently, for the last 3 years, we're getting about 22.3 in the HAZA funds. Senator Schatz has been very active in providing funding, so we're kind of using those funds because of the interest rates, and they're a lot better than some of the funds we have. Also, are kind of working with Hawaiian community lendings or assets regarding providing counseling. There's a certain income restriction on in order to access that particular loan, but there are other loans like the 184A, the 247, and various others that you know, it's really a matter of kind of sitting and finding out what the situation is with the person that's trying to qualify. I think one of the things you brought up regarding these empty lots, it really is necessary for the department to find out what the situation as to why these lots are empty and not being built on. So, and I believe that part of the problem is the department has been deficient in providing counseling and assistance, as well as identifying resources. So that's why we brought on Kalani Franda. He's tasked with that, to sit down with the different applicants that have not built, find out why they're not building. Now, it's one thing if, you know, they are not qualified, so well, let's look for a loan that they can qualify for. We've gotten very active with Habitat for Humanity, where people can bring in and provide sweat equity. So across the state, in fact, last week we met with all the heads of the different affiliates. So we haven't really taken a look at Lanai, but I think now might be the time where we consider that. Another self-help approach, like Kalani had mentioned, using the SIMS approach, the structural insulated paneling is very less labor intensive. It's hopefully more cost effective. So that's another way where we're trying to not only address the empty lots, but also in the new lots that we're awarding, we're going to try and get it whereby we can have contractors come in and provide the assistance that's been missing. Now, with respect to the overgrown, unmaintained areas, that is a base, especially because of Lahaina and you know, the very tragic situation with the fires. We're going to be very, very active. We're going into the legislature and asking for about 20 million to provide funding for specifically addressing and coming up with game plans. We're meeting with different communities and looking at how we can best approach the fire overgrown areas that need to be addressed with fire breaks, constant maintenance, what have you. We're also looking at some of these vacant lands, putting them to better use rather than just sitting and not used. We are looking at committing or creating community pastures, and whereby we awarded out to maybe a group of homesteaders that are in the pastoral business or what have you, so that they can have these larger parcels. And we're starting to work with on the commercial side with actual commercial ranchers that can actually participate, provide assistance, work together. A group with a slaughterhouse on the Big Island as well as on Oahu. So again, the idea is to get our lands a little bit more used. We are going to continue to maybe look at temporary use, the revocable permits for areas that I believe we're doing that on this island with RP. And so those different approaches hopefully will address not only the dangers regarding overgrown areas with, but also on the blood quantum, the legislature did pass, which is subject to congressional approval, reducing the successor to 1/32. We already are down to 1/4 for specific heirs and successors, but there definitely is a need. We have met with the congressional delegation to try and move that forward. They're asking for statistics justifying that. So that's on us. So we need to get that data to them so that they can have the justification that warrants that reduction. And when you look at the original goal of the Prince Kuhio, it was for 1/32 original awardees. So it's not inconsistent with the history, though you may have, disagreement with respect to the 29,000 on our waiting list now that are half, 50%. So, there's that kind of conflicting positions, but I think it's clearly something that needs to be addressed. So anyway, I think, did you have any other questions?
No, I think that was good. So like giving on that info, do you folks can keep us updated on that, like, what's going on with the quantum and all that, and also the empty lots, like people maybe cannot qualify for a loan. Yeah. So if the lots is gonna stay open, like, who's gonna maintain the lots? It would be nice to, I'm interested to. I tried to call them to see if they needed somebody or if even somebody in Hawaiian Home Lands. Instead of trying to get somebody outside from other islands, they get the grant money like that, but then they only come a couple times and they're gone and it never comes back. And I think some of the last people that was maintaining the empty lots, they never got paid. They was working and they keep on calling and nobody answered the phone. And I was one of them. I tried to call. And finally I got through, and then when I tried to call again, they would never answer their phone. So, I don't know about the other people before, but that never got paid for taking care of the lots. But I think that if there will be empty lots where people might not qualify, now who's going to maintain the lots? So that is something that I would be interested in, I'm hoping that if I was going to get somebody on island, and instead of getting somebody from off island, I think the first time they hired somebody from outside island for take care of the grounds, they ran off with the money, and and so it never happened, and so those are loopholes where money is gone, but we got people on island in the Hawaiian homes that if willing to take care of the lots, willing to get a contract going. I have my own business. I do groundskeeper like that, and so I was trying to call them, and to one point, but after that they would never return my calls. So that's something that, I hope that will be taken into consideration that, if there's gonna be empty lots again, the first time lots was open for a long time, but somebody needs to maintain the lots. Because we got houses there, it affects the houses, if there's a fire, even the signs, the side of the roads. We get some nice homeowners, we've been cutting the lantanas on our own. Sometimes we mow the grass like that, but then, it shouldn't be like that. It should be done right, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I don't know, Walter, you and I were talking as we were flying over here regarding your NHOs and maybe creating a business opportunity.
So one of the things that we chatted about is the Association for the Homesteads. And there might be an opportunity for Native Hawaiian organizations to invest in some material, equipment or whatnot, but the association has to be responsible for that. So the investments that NHOs make for our Native Hawaiian communities, specifically for DHHL, we're actually going to look at that. I sit on one of them. We have a fairly strong association. And so we're going to take a look at that. Chair Watson asked me to do that, so we're going to do that.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
also, let me say that, again, with the vacant lots, they shouldn't be vacant. I mean, whatever the reason, if it's a challenge regarding getting financing or assistance in identifying a model or whatever, that's where Kalani will come in. And we've actually are trying to be very aggressive, because throughout the state, there are a lot of scattered lots that are just vacant. There are a lot of abandoned homes that have either been taken back by the department for various reasons, but they're just sitting there. So Kalani is tasked with identifying, which he has, all these different vacant lots, as well as, more importantly, those that have existing houses on that just need to be, fixed up a little bit and re-awarded. It's ridiculous that the department has these assets that are deteriorating. That's unacceptable. So we're going to very actively pursue that. The other thing is we're trying to work with Native Hawaiian contractors. So we're working with this one group as an example, NACOA, two Kamehameha graduates, and they have a little construction development company. So we've identified a particular project. There's some lots that they were building on Kauai, as well as in Laeopua on the Big Island. And so similarly, if there are contractors out there that are looking for work, then I think this would be a great opportunity, not only to create work, but more importantly, I think involve the Native Hawaiian small business guys and give them work. And so we definitely are very, very supportive of that. So if you know, and you out there have those kind of businesses, working with Kalani, there has to be a little bit of a coordination, but there is business opportunities there. And especially when we like to get the numbers up, but we also like to have the developer employ, especially the people from that island. So that's real critical. And so this is going to be a project. I mean, we're talking about quite a few homes here, and then we're going to expand it to the county project. It should be, a great opportunity for the small Native Hawaiian contractors on this island. So do take advantage of, and Kalani is, he's here, so give him your contact information. He's sitting in the back. And then we can get the dialogue going, and maybe you can take advantage of this opportunity. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay, the next testifier, Georgette Woolsey.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming. I do have a few questions. The first one is, how much will these homes be? Are you looking at for the people on Lanai? Because as you can see, we only have one big employer on this island. So they cannot go work 7-Eleven, they cannot go work one mall to get extra money to make extra money to build a house like Oahu, where you're $400,000 or $500,000 homes. I don't know what you guys are looking at as far as the cost of the homes. The second one is I called Maui, well, first I called Honolulu because we all have friends that are on the lots that were awarded and nothing was being done. So I called Honolulu to ask about Habitat for Humanity. And then they said, oh, you gotta call Maui office because you're over there. So I called Maui office. They said, oh, you gotta call Habitat for Maui. So I called them. And they said, okay, we're gonna check on it. So they gotta go back and talk to Maui. So it's a ring around the rosy thing, just trying to get our people on the land. There are contractors here on the island already. Like if they leave, I mean, the resources, we're gonna have to pay double. Like they're here already. Let's get them, their machine, their equipment are here. So why can't we use some of them? Like Kobayashi, they're quick. They build those colorful houses in no time. The other one is when we first got our leases here, we were told that we had to build within 2 years. We kicked ass. We all build our houses within that limit, with the exception of the contractor folding and redoing again. But the people that were awarded lots, we're 17 years into this. If the first people was awarded, they never built for I don't know how long. This is your second row that you're going through giving the next awardee. How much years are you giving these people to build their home? What is the timeline? The next question is, you're saying that Pulama has to get approval of design of the homes. Isn't the land awarded to Hawaiian Homes? Why are they involved in our approval of design? I don't want to look like those Easter egg houses down the road. Sorry, they're nice homes, but the colors gotta go. Everybody sees it, we're not blind. Also the lease and the transfer, there's 2 homes, right? One that was foreclosed. One of our friends that applied for the house got awarded, but again, how long does it take to get the lease transferred to them so that they can fix that house and get it? My girlfriend in Waianae had sold her home. She had to wait 1 year before she could move and that lease be transferred. When we were here getting our houses awarded, my husband's name came up first. He transferred his lease over to my daughter, less than 5 minutes. All her paperwork was there, ready to go. Why does it take years? Why? That house is ready to go. Her son needs that house. Shouldn't take that long. 5 minutes was right there. Next paperwork. Next, come down the line. 10 more. My time came up. It doesn't take long. We see that right there. There's another house down the other end of Komoku that's been there since 17 years. That's back on lease. That nobody ever moved in. Nobody checked if the house is coming back. There's a family right next door with about 20 people in that house, could use that house. Why not look into that house? There's water leaking in the homestead. My grandkids are playing across in an empty lot. So the ball went down the hill. When it went down the hill, they heard water leaking from the property on Hawaiian Home Lands. So I called when the lady was here to go check it. I don't know whose kuleana is it. Is it Hawaiian Homes? Is it Pulama? I don't know. But the water, I went and checked it again. It's still leaking in the Hawaiian Home Lands. The cement ditches behind our home, the swells, we clean it from my neighbors, 2 neighbors down, all the way to my daughter's house next to me. We clean those ditches. We are downhill. The houses above us is Pulama. All that rubbish that rose over from them rose over to our side into the ditch. So we're cleaning out coolers, buckets. We know that's our kuleana, but is there a fence that can build so that all their rubbish don't come into that ditch? You know, there was a fence that the homestead built across the street alongside. Can we have that fence so we don't have all that rubbish coming in? If it rains and both of our houses were not home, to help clean that ditch, who's gonna do it? All that water is gonna overflow into our home because my son-in-law and my daughter's house is the end where the end of all the rubbish goes. And we're out there cleaning them up along with my two neighbors cleaning up that trash. That's not our coolers, that's not our buckets, that's not all our surfboards, but we clean them. All I'm asking if we can do a fence, short fence, I don't care, it's something to just stop all their rubbish on their side. The next is the $2 million that was appropriated for us. Can part of that be part of helping us getting started with an association here? Getting us started, getting us training, whatever it takes. That would be nice. And I think that's all the questions I have for now.
Okay, Georgette, actually, let me try to answer some of your questions. With respect to the costs of the homes, that really is going to be dependent on the type of, house, whether it's a 2-bedroom, a 4-bedroom. It's also the type of construction involved. Is it, there's just a whole variety of variables that would impact the actual cost of the home. If you're going to do a Habitat for Humanity type approach, that obviously the sweat equity would reduce the cost. And then, so I can't give you a specific price, but what we are trying to do is to keep the costs down by using different approaches. For example, one of the things we're doing is our most recent project, the Punani project on Maui, involves 161 houses. And so one of the requirements is that we require the developer to use these different approaches. He's doing the Habitat for Humanity. So that is, I think he's doing either 20 or 30 units. Then he's also doing the, just finishing the lots. It's an improved flat lot given to the homesteader off the wait list. And then that homesteader, can decide who he wants to use to build his house, subject to certain standards as well as deadlines. So that also, by doing it himself, hopefully it'll get the cost down. And then we're also using what they call these low-income housing tax credit with the option to purchase, where we get all this subsidized funding from the governments, both federal and state, and in some cases county, which reduces the cost. So it ends up where presently the homesteader is given and chooses this option. We've done a bunch of these on Oahu as well as the Big Island, whereby the person, based on their income, they have to be 60% area median income or below, and so lower income. And by being a certain lower income, they can qualify for this project with all these different subsidies. So the end result is they pay very affordable rent for the initial 15 years. At the end of the 15 years, there's a conversion where the participant renter is then given a long-term lease, homestead, and then they take on the remaining debt. The project we did in Kapolei, the whole Lima Lima project, which we just converted a couple of years ago, the people were able to live in a 3-4 bedroom beautiful homes and just paid rent. And so they now have converted, and I think the loans are about 90,000. So what they were paying in rent is close to what they're paying on their mortgage. So that was one of the other ways to get the costs down, where they didn't really have to qualify for a mortgage. And then the others were requiring the developer to do the standard turnkey. You got to qualify for a mortgage. Fortunately, now we have these loan products that are a lot less costly. And then we're also using part of the $600 million that we got from the legislature to subsidize and lower the interest rate. So even more, we can qualify for these turnkey units. And so there's all these different approaches. Whether we apply these approaches to Lanai, that remains to be seen. What we're going to do is we are right now, the 2 million is going for the infrastructure planning, design, and post-design. I believe we're entering into a contract with a consultant to do that work. Once that's completed, we anticipate going out for a developer. And the developer, again, but we're going to require the developer, just like how we did in the Punani, the Maui project, to have all these different products that will be reflective of the people on the wait list. Now, the other thing is we need to take a look at the 70 people on the Lanai wait list and actually do an assessment as to what their situation is. Now, if a lot of them are lower income because of job challenges, pay, what have you, then we'll kind of pivot and focus in on maybe the slide tech rent-to-own approach as well as a habitat. Now, if we have enough where they don't want to do that, they just want to get, and they can qualify for a mortgage, we'll do so many for that. But I think we'll try to focus in and use an approach that fits the waiting list. So that's where up front, we need to really do a quick analysis of the people on the waiting list. With that assessment, we can figure out which categories they fall in so that they can be successful in getting a homestead as well as a house. And that's kind of the approach we're using on all our projects, in that the legislature last year awarded the department $600 million. So this commission approved a little over 20 projects under its strategic plan involving about 2,900 new homestead lots. And we're also in the process of acquiring new lands to add to that. And so with that strategic plan, which also included Lanai within it. And so we're kind of moving forward on trying to approach it where we can better suit and move along quicker in getting these houses out. Now, the Kobayashi that you mentioned, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to put out an RFQ, or request for qualifications, and we identify a developer out there that can do what I'm talking about and is somewhat capable and has the capacity to do these different products. And so with respect to the timing, it's going to be a little bit different. Like I said, we will work with the existing waiting list, and we try to gear it to make and build these houses in as quickly process as we can. But it is going to take a certain amount of design work and assessments of the infrastructure, also figuring out how we're going to pay for the infrastructure. And that's where we're trying to work with the counties as well as the Pulama Lanai, and as well as the different federal organizations to get the funding for the infrastructure. So that timing, there's a certain deadline on the use of the funds, so we're going to try and move that forward. With respect to the vacant lots and management of these areas, we're going to have to look at some kind of maintenance approach that makes sense. And so that's where hopefully we can kind of create a business opportunity for some people here to take on that maintenance, as well as if we do have the funding from this coming legislature, we'll create some kind of system and plan to address the potential fire risks and have a plan that can alleviate that risk. And with respect to the 2 million, that is committed to, as I mentioned, infrastructure planning, design, and post-design. It's not really set aside for anything but to facilitate the taking people off the wait list. So it's restricted, so to speak.
Is that the same design that you have here from 2010?
Yeah, that's a plan, right?
So you're spending more money on this design that was already done?
Well, the 2 million is to do, I guess, the first steps in moving forward. We are actually close to expending or encumbering the 600 million. So we are going into the legislature because they've given a deadline on us whereby if we don't encumber it by a certain date, we lose it.
Right.
And so we're very, very active This one will take a little bit longer, so we anticipate going in for additional funding for the next steps of this particular design. Now, let me also say that one of the changes that we're going to be making regarding the development and award of the leases is that historically what the department has done is they don't make the awards till the house is built. And so what happens in that case, because of the long delays in the construction, as well as the awards, people on the wait list, because they haven't been awarded a lease, when they pass away and their kids are not 50% Hawaiian, they lose out. They might be quarter Hawaiian, but because the parents didn't have an awarded lease, there is no successor. So one of the things we're changing is on these different projects that we're preparing. Once we have a developer in place, once we have the commitment and interest, as well as people off the wait list that want an award for a particular project, we're going to make the awards. We're not going to wait till the house is built to make the award, so that if it takes 2-3 years to finish and complete the house, at least in that initial period, the person on the wait list will have a lease. So if unfortunately he should pass away, or she, the kids will be able to succeed even if they're quarter Hawaiian. So that's a big change that we're gonna make with respect to the timing on the awards, to avoid that terrible result where a person dies and their kids lose out. So that's another change, a major change that we're going to be making.
What about the, like now, 17 years later, we still haven't, is there a timeline for these people that are awarded the lots? Like we had 2 years, you got to get in your house or you're going to lose your lot. That's what we were.
Yeah, again, that's one thing I'm not here to cancel lease. I don't want to do that. But yet at the same time, we need to find out why that house is not being built. Now, if it's because they don't have the resources, they couldn't qualify, we'll help them. But if we do find people that, they got a house on the mainland and they don't have any intentions of coming back and it's just sitting there, then we will encourage them to either convey it to somebody, or as a last resort, we will send them a notice of violation, as well as consider a contested case hearing, which would have to be approved by the commission, just to get them off their okole and start moving on the lot. And so that's something we will do in worst case scenario. But I think in a lot of situations, it's just, they just don't have the resources or the guidance that is needed. And that's part of what this program is about, to provide that guidance. And we have been very deficient in that area. So that's why I've started to bring on people. We're starting to work with the different contractors and stuff to get stuff like that going.
Okay, I forgot one question. There are a few lots over here that are exempt from land taxes. Can you tell me why?
Exempt from land taxes? I think there's a 7-year waiver, and then after the seventh year, I think there's a lump sum minimum charge that they charge you the real estate for your real estate.
It's public information you can look up. So,
You're
and I
talking
printed
about-
it out here because all of us that pay land taxes to the Maui County, we pay it, but there's a few that are exempt. So can
Yeah,
we
the
be
first
exempt?
7 years, the first 7 years.
It's 17 years they have not paid.
Well, we've been getting grief from the different counties about non-payments. Like on, I think one county, they complain about the collection for.
No, it's not even collection. They're totally exempt. I printed it out. I'll give it to you after.
Okay, I can take a look at that.
It's totally exempt. And one of them are related to, so I really know.
Yeah, okay. Take a look at that, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I know Garrett and you, Georgette, brought up the fact that you have issues with the maintenance of some of these vacant lots and the ditches. Is that correct?
Me is the ditches because we take care of the cement swell.
Okay, how active is your homestead association right now?
We don't have one.
Ooh.
That's
See,
why I asked for help.
I'm a beneficiary. I belong to an association that's been active for over 30 years. And there's a huge benefit when you belong to an association. Of course, you have your board members, you have your president, vice president, and so forth. But what's beneficial about a homestead association is you can go after grants, okay? Grants meaning through the department. And also, you could establish a 501c nonprofit. The reason I bring this up is because you can go after maintenance equipment to maintain these areas. And so, I really encourage you folks, because I understand there's 44 lots in this area, and then there's one vacant lot.
No, there's like 16.
Is there homes that are abandoned?
2.
Okay, so because of the climate change that we're going through right now, the fire in Lahaina, to me, it's a very important issue to really take serious for. So that I would encourage you as a community, get together and somehow, put your energy and effort and create a association. Because, for example, the association I belong to is Kalamula Homestead Association. We've taken over a park in Kalamula, and we built a brand new pavilion, and it's not completed yet, but and this is why. And then we also did a project back in 2000, removal of abandoned vehicles, appliances. So there's great benefits to have a active homestead association.
Right, I understand. That's why I asked if the homestead would help guide us in that. Like, I don't know, when we start an association, what are the rules on the homestead side? Like, what can we cross, what can we not cross? Why I have questions when we develop an association.
Yeah, I think we can help you with that. We were working with the Shaw, Sovereign Council of Associations, and they have certain templates that they use and provide guidance to the creation of association. Not that you necessarily have to work with that group, but there are resources out there that I'd be happy to turn you on to. They can give you some guidance, and they have, I think, close to 40 associations. So they've been pretty active in going after grants, and exactly what Commissioner Helm is talking about. And I think some of the other commissioners, like Dennis, he's on Kauai, and they've had issues with abandoned cars, and they've approached it a certain way. And I don't know if you want to share anything on that, Dennis.
Well, actually, we're waiting for some funding, but basically we had the community get together. We have about 500 acres that we decided to get a right of entry for stewardship. So we're trying to steward 500 acres. You can imagine what that takes. Primarily, we got all the community together. We worked with the county police department, and it was just a mess. There's still 400 cars out there that have been abandoned that we have to move. And we're in the process of getting that to a location, trying to get funding from the department to have those moved. We have an agreement with the recycler to not charge us for it, but it's the transport of those cars. So you really have to reach out to your community, and I could I could get a hold of some communities and find out on the homeowner association, get you at least a list of rules of what they use. That would be a good template to get started. And go from there, and then coordinate with the department on things that you have questions on.
Well, I don't have questions about cars removal or anything, because Pulama does a great job of removing all the vehicles for the whole community, not only the homestead, but they do a great job on recycling everything for everyone. I just had questions about the homestead association not crossing boundaries between the rules of Hawaiian Homes and our own community, because you're saying that you have to talk to Pulama about approval of designing a home. So it's like,
no, that doesn't apply anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, they waived that.
Just making sure, just making sure.
And, I would like to also add, like Commissioner has mentioned regarding the association. We recently got, I think it was either $6 or $8 million from the legislature that we're gonna, and we actually just recently put out an RFP or a notice regarding grant monies that are available. So that if you're an association, especially if you're a 501c nonprofit, you right in there, you can access those funds. And I guess last year we awarded quite a bit. And then you also have OHA, they got funding. So yeah, I would strongly recommend you go do your 501c3 with your association, because there's all these wonderful funds out there that you can then access.
Commissioner,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
what I wanted to share is in Nanakuli, where I live on the homestead, we actually asked for the help of our athletic departments. So the football team, the basketball team, those teams come out and they help in our cemetery that we have in our community, kind of the back areas where our custodians cannot get to, and so they help with those cleanings. We provide the supplies, they come out and do it. There's some liability that we have to think about, but we've been able to be innovative in that way. And the other thing is that we've used Hawaiian Civic Clubs in our community. We have 4 in our Moku, but mine specifically is the Nanikopono Hawaiian Civic Club. And so if there's a Hawaiian Civic Club here that you can partner with, well, maybe we can think about that too as we're trying to create an association, but I just wanted to share that. Mahalo.
Thank you. The water leak, so whose kuleana is that? That's on the empty lots in the homestead.
You're talking about water leaks?
There's
in a
water
house?
just constantly coming out.
Uh,
It's like there's empty lots, and then the one below where the dirt is, it's still part of the Hawaiian Home Lands, but it's running. It's been
Yeah,
running
maybe
from
if you
last
can
year.
give us more information, we can check that out.
Okay.
One more thing, Chair.
Sure.
I know Garrett mentioned that there was a contractor that was doing the maintenance from Molokai. Is that correct? Somebody mentioned that? And
Garrett.
the guy took the money and ran, right? Or something like that.
The thing was, when we first moved in, I think had somebody, I heard that they took the money and ran, but then they had somebody taking care of, I guess, another person, ran or something, take care of the place, and they already had somebody else. And then he was getting paid for a while, and then all of a sudden, they wasn't paying him. They didn't pay him, so he just stopped mowing, and, because I was wondering, how come nobody, so this when I was interested in, trying to see if I could maintain the lots, and get a contract or something like
Yeah.
that.
The reason I brought that up is because we do have a contractor on Molokai that maintains our stream beds, and the department hires them to do that. So I'm just thinking maybe it's like MOC, Molokai Occupation Center. It's something similar to the Maui Opportunity I'm not sure that organization, but it's the same organization that does community work. So I just wanted to bring that up. And maybe that's another option. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next testifier is Joel Aoki. Joel? Oh, there she comes.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to Lanai. I have a couple of items. Let me set my timer so I don't take too much of your time. So I'm Joelle Aoki. I'm Aki Aoki. I'm a VC at the Hawaii development here on Lanai. And my sister Renette Aki Kamai is here as well. She's recently moved home, half, Lanai and Oahu. And I think I'll cover a few things on the personal side. So first of all, just to touch a little bit upon what Susu, Georgette was talking about with the stormwater drain, the culvert in the back of our property. We're on the north end. Susu's families is on the southwest side of Kamoku. Our neighbor in the back, who has been very kind, we've communicated with them, we've tried to talk to them, previously would wash all of their dog feces into the stormwater area. And again, it's a stormwater drainage, so it's only when there's big rain that water will flow through there. So our 90-year-old dad, my father, would go there and shovel it out. And we brought this to the commission's attention in 2010, 2012, and I think one more time before he passed. And he would shovel it all out into a bag, call me so we could lift it into the rubbish can. And he would do this every other month. And we would talk to the neighbors and talk to the neighbors, and we would have good conversation with them. There was dialogue, but it wouldn't stop. Now they have over 200 chickens in the back. Now we have chicken poop, which is good for the garden, but you only can use so much of it. And we have a dialogue going with our neighbors. We have a good relationship with them, but it's ongoing. And we really would appreciate it if the commission could do something quickly, because I don't believe that that is safe for our keiki. They play in that ditch sometimes and we have to chase them away because whether it's dried or it's wet, it's still not cured and not safe. So it's a public safety hazard at this point. And if you could please look into that, we would greatly appreciate it. Also, moving on to your G1, I don't know if it's possible, but through your Native Hawaiian or your Native American Housing Self-Determination Act grant, if you might have funding available for current lessees to be able to take advantage of renewable energy opportunities, photovoltaic, solar. I think majority of us have solar water heaters, but it would be nice if there was some kind of funding, grant opportunities for our current lessees to be able to convert over to photovoltaic. You know, our electricity cost has increased exponentially, and I looked at my bill and maybe it's our usage, but I'm paying 150% more than we were when we first built in 2007. And so I believe that for some of our lessees that are having, you know, electricity bills that are climbing, having an opportunity for the current lessees to be able to get some kind of grant funding so they can be able to convert over to renewable energy would, you know, get on the agenda of our entire state of Hawaii and allow us to, you know, spend our funds much more efficiently. When you talk about a county partnership with the upcoming affordable housing development, I don't know if this is possible, but you never know unless you ask. I believe that on the island of Kauai, there is a DHHL development there where they are exempt from property tax. And it is an agreement with the county of Kauai, and they are not paying property tax. If we're going to go into a public-private partnership with DHHL and the county of Maui, potentially you could leverage some of that because of the lift station, because they need that Mauka side, that north side of the land, in order to build the south side for the affordable housing project, to where we could either omit our land property tax or discount it for our lessees. Because I think it's very important that if one property has it in Kauai, we all should have it, because we're Native Hawaiians. So also, I have a question in reference to, and this is, I'm sorry, I'll save this for the last part. You know, the building of the lots and the lessees, the new lessees who have been awarded, it would be very beneficial to them to have a community resource coordinator on island that is able to assist them in the first phase of the Hawaii development. DHHL, Kamehameha Schools, Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center, and I believe NOAA also committed some monies for an individual that assisted with getting people on the land. It was everything from applying for the NAHASA grant, managing their case management for their match savings program, everything from finding a builder, getting their plans done. What are the next steps in order to follow the timeline that Susu has mentioned? You need someone on island to help them get there. It's not as easy here in Lanai. There's always a Lanai factor, the cost, the availability, the lack of resources here, which is why it makes it very difficult to have a Habitat for Humanity project, because you have to have community investment. You have to have people that are that can build and have the time to commit to that build. When you have people working 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make ends meet. So I believe that having a position like that, not someone coming from Maui that's battling the ferry and mokulele to get here, but somebody here on island that is able to be readily available for our people so they can get on the land, because that is part of the battle, is having to deal with being able to speak to somebody about the barriers and the challenges that they may be facing with trying to get on the land. And that is potentially why this build is taking a long time to get started up. And in addition to that, I believe that, the people who are trying to get on the land, they don't have that direction. In 2007, we were building at $50 a square foot. Today, it's over $150 a square foot, in all honesty. And all the grants that we got a NAHASA grant. It was a match savings of 2 to 1, but they were walking away with $5,000 that was going into escrow. That's not much for the houses that was built at this time. Now the costs are astronomical. There's the factor of shipping everything in. So please, when you think about how to get these people to advance forward, they really need someone here that can help them, whatever it is. And someone here, Lanai, not somebody commuting back and forth. Because as it is, it's such a challenge for any of us to get out for doctor or for appointments off island. When you put out your RFP, your solicitation for procurement for your builder, please keep in mind what happened to our people here with Menehune Builders. They went bankrupt at one point, and then people were faced with predatory lending. And then that's when we started to finance to the Department of Hawaiian Home Lands. And that is something very serious that we need to consider, because when these builders say we can do it, we can come to Lanai and build, where are they gonna stay? Because that builder, when they walked out, they also walked out on the people that they were leasing from. Tens of thousands of dollars that was owed to the people that leased them their homes, the people that they rented the equipment from, tens of thousands of dollars that they were out because of that. And that builder has the capacity to mobilize to Lanai to build, not just, I'm gonna come to Lanai and build. So for us, our ohana, with our other relatives, we did our own turnkey project. We hired our own builder and other extended ohana and members of our Hawaiian community. We got our own builder. We said, these are the plans. How much can you build this for per square foot based on our plans that we wanted? And we were able to do it, but it's because that builder was from Lanai. That is the only reason why I think it was successful. Well, and because they're good builders, of course, but it was successful because those people were here. They didn't have to pay for housing and all these other costs. But please be careful when I just kindly ask that you look at that, because we don't want to be faced with that same situation again. And then I want to thank you for coming on a Sunday. So many of us could come. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, we'll, I guess the complaint regarding the storm drain, we'll take a look at that, and we'll kind of figure out how to resolve that. Especially when you mentioned the health issue, that's something that's really unacceptable. Especially if you have kids. Well, I don't know, the kids playing in there, is that kind of dangerous or?
Well, if they're playing in the upper portion, they are, but now my my sister who's retired, who has moved home part-time, you know, I can't expect her to go out there and do this. I'm the youngest, so it's not my kuleana. So, you know, and our neighbor we have good, our neighbor is good. They try their best, but it's not enough. So we're not sure how to address it at this point.
Yeah, we have an enforcement branch, and first, we have to do an analysis of what, if any violations there are by doing what that person is doing. I think there should be, and then we'll take it from there. With respect to the energy, renewable energy opportunities, yeah, we actually are getting active in that. We brought on somebody to kind of focus in on that, as well as grants. And we've been approached by various entities that do exactly what you're talking about, changing out appliances and various other things. So we'll be doing that statewide, which will obviously include Lanai. And this Lanai Community Resource Coordinator, do you have somebody in mind?
No, I don't, but I think that's something you should potentially look into.
Right, but gotta be somebody that's qualified to do what you're talking about.
That is correct.
So, anybody in mind? Besides yourself?
Not at this time. No, I'm not
Sounds like
looking
you
for
know
another
your
job.
stuff, so, I think, well.
But I do feel for the residents, so I thought I would bring that up because, yeah, it would be very important to take care of that. Having someone here would be very good, and yes, you would need someone that is certified.
Yeah, they gotta be certified the whole trip, and so that actually is gonna be part of, you know, when we do choose a developer to do this semi-major development on Lanai, we would expect that person to kind of choose somebody that can prep the intended occupants of this new development. And so it's going to be a matter of qualifying them for loans, see if they qualify for assuming they do the habitat program and what have you, even the LIHTC rent-to-own. So I think that it might be a little premature at this point, but we eventually are going to be in a position where we will hire a developer, and part of the developer agreement will require them to do the kind of approach that you're talking about. Whether we're going to restrict it to somebody from Lanai, assuming we can find somebody that fits that position, then yeah, I see why not.
If I may, I would encourage the commission to have that person under the commission, not under the developer, because then that person would be for the people, not for the developer who is getting paid.
Yeah, and that's why we, you know, we also work with CDFIs, like Hawaiian Community Lending and some of these others that, you know, we actually hire them, and we have a contract with them. We pay them, and for some of them, it's based on, you know, results oriented. They get somebody qualified, and bang, they get a fee. They don't, and it's on them. But, you know, we'll figure it out. But again, you know, we have to kind of get a handle on the makeup of the wait list and what kind of approaches are involved, so we can service them and make a positive impact. And again, the Lanai builders, yeah, we're 100% behind that. If we can use, especially on these the 14 or so lots we're going to do, yeah, Kalani, we're going to try and emphasize that. So if you, again, any contractors out there, please go leave your names and contact info with Kalani. It's kind of on you guys to, you know, let us know who you are.
Chair.
Yes.
One more final thing. Can you designate to get someone to follow up on that water leak? So,
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's really important that we get that taken care of.
Yeah, Stuart, let's take a look at that, and then if it's enforced, probably a letter for now, but then we got to figure out what's causing the leaks and stuff too. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there anybody else out there that wanted to jump up here and share your manao? I mean, now's the time, we're here, gang, so please do take advantage of this opportunity. No? Last chance. What do we do? Oh, we got one. Got one taker. All right.
Just keep it short. My wife and I are advocates for food security and food independence. So I think moving forward with the plan is if we can maybe dedicate some space for agriculture, and we Kalamai, we occupy on space that's under the department. We've been livestock farming for the last 10 years. So we believe that the plan works, and I understand how important it is to have an association to help to implement these plans and work with you folks. And the other thing I think was trying to acquire funding to help beautify the areas that we in. Some of the materials was left from the last contractors, containers, equipment, and just trying to beautify the place. And we're willing to work, to do the work. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, Malo. Malo.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Well, okay, we've come to the end of today's agenda. Mahalo nui for participating. The next commission meeting is on tomorrow on November 20th and 21st in Kapolei, Oahu, starting at 9:30 a.m. And we are recessed for the day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.